Well, Treasurer Josh Frydenberg announced in his budget speech this week employment is at a record high. 75,000 more Australians are in jobs than prior to the pandemic. While this is promising news, how do we maintain and improve productivity, time management, and perhaps increase new skills in the workforce? Dr. Amantha Imber, founder of Inventium, joins me now. Good morning, Amantha.
Hi.
So, Amantha, the Treasurer spoke about more jobs, also investing $1.2 billion into our digital economy strategy and also the importance of digital skills to help create job opportunities. Inventium, your company, are Australian leaders in innovation. How important are announcements like these?
I think they're really important, but we also need to be looking at helping individuals really thrive in this age of what can be a really hard time to work because we are bombarded with digital distractions, pings and dings, and email and instant messenger. So the announcement's great, but it's also really important to look at the individual level of staff within your organisation and think about how can you improve their productivity.
So, how do we do that? What are some of your tips?
Well, one thing that's really important is that most people go through their day multitasking. So, research from Rescue Time suggests that the average person checks their email or instant messenger every 6 minutes, which is kind of crazy. Like, how can you get anything done if you are constantly distracted every 6 minutes? So, it's really important that we try to switch off notifications, be on do not disturb, so that we can actually get deep focused work done and be a monotasker. Focus on one thing at the one time. So, for example, research from the University of Michigan suggests that when we multitask as opposed to monotask, things take 40% longer. So, that is super important to monotask.
It's very hard when you're a parent to monotask sometimes, isn't it?
Very hard. Yes, I've got a 7-year-old daughter, and yes, that definitely proved tricky when homeschooling was a thing.
It can come in handy as well, I guess. But as you said, it's interesting, 40% less efficiency. You've also, you and your company, help hundreds and thousands of people and organisations with managing change. It's certainly everywhere, especially now more than ever during the pandemic. So what are some of the main issues that you've seen when you're helping companies and organisations?
Look, I think that a big issue is something we've seen in a lot of workplaces is thinking about giving employees more flexibility. And while that's been a big theme over 2020, in that a lot of companies have had people working from home for the first time, we also need to think about flexibility more broadly. So something that we work with a lot of our clients around is helping them understand their chronotype. And so, chronotype basically refers to our 24-hour sleep wake cycle and when we're at our peak energy level. So, there are three types of chronotypes: larks, who are stereotypical morning people, there's owls, who peak in the evening in terms of their brain power, and then there's middle birds, everyone else, who kind of run on the schedule of a lark, where their best brain power is in their morning, but just delayed by a couple of hours, so sort of between 9 to 12 o'clock. And I think that it's really important that leaders need to be giving their staff more flexibility in terms of the time that they work. So letting staff be able to choose what hours they work and what hours they don't, so that we can align the kind of heavy duty lifting tasks from a brain power point of view with when we're most cognitively alert.
Yeah, well, there's certainly a couple of hours in the day. I know that you sort of have that major focus, and I guess is that what you're saying before with deep focus? What is deep focus, and what's the opposite of deep focus?
So, deep focus is where you have a task that to do it well, it requires intense concentration and certainly no distractions. So, it might be writing a report or preparing for a presentation or doing a piece of research or something like that. And then, in contrast, there's also what Professor Cal Newport refers to as shallow work. So, this is non cognitively demanding work. So, it might be getting into your inbox and sorting through email or writing some quick messages to people on Slack or making some phone calls, for example. So we want to try and do our deep focused work when our brain power is at its peak, which for 80% of the population is going to be in the morning. And then do our shallow work when we're kind of dipping in energy, which for most of us is just after lunch, sort of around the hours of 1 to 3 o'clock.
We certainly need a big do not disturb cone around us, don't we? With new jobs, upskilling, working, new jobs, and with JobKeeper, JobSeeker, the change that's happening around us in terms of people having to perhaps gain new skills for a new job. What can we do to improve? And, there's so much research, for example, on neuroplasticity and the fear of people, perhaps thinking that they can't go into these new roles. What would you say?
Well, Professor Carol Dweck talks about having a fixed versus a growth mindset. So, people with a fixed mindset believe that the traits and the skills that they have, like intelligence, for example, is largely fixed. It can't be changed. But people with a growth mindset believe that if you work hard at something and you practice, you can grow and you can become better. So, it's really important that we try to encourage people to have a growth mindset. No matter what age you are, it's possible to grow and it's possible to improve. And that's been proven time and time again from a neurological perspective.
It's never too late to learn. And for more information on your podcast, websites, courses at inventium.com.au.
Absolutely. Or search for How I Work wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Amanda Imber. It's great to talk to you.